We're here at the 2011 edition of the Archaeology Channel International Film and Video Festival, where last night Dr. Tom King was our keynote speaker, speaking on a subject of great interest to him and many other people, the disappearance of Amelia Earhart. I have some questions of Dr. King about that subject. So tell me, how confident are you that you actually know what happened to Amelia Earhart?
67.2. I can put any kind of numbers on it I want. I think that we basically, I won't say no, but have a real good idea what happened to Earhart. We have a hypothesis that we've been testing now for 23 years in various ways, and the evidence strongly suggests that the hypothesis is essentially correct.
All right, so now, the big question. What happened to Amelia Earhart?
Well, our hypothesis is that Amelia Earhart and Fred Noonan, on the morning of July 2nd, 1937, arrived in the vicinity of Howland Island, their destination in the Central Pacific, couldn't see the island, and couldn't make radio contact with the Coast Guard cutter Itasca, which was there to guide them in. They fell back on flying up and down what's called the line of position, the line of position that Noonan had plotted when he shot the sun that morning at sunrise. That line of position runs basically northwest-southeast. We think they flew primarily southeast because there's no land north of Howland Island for quite a ways. They flew southeast, which would bring them to an island that then was called Gardner Island, now is called Nicomaroro. We think they landed on the island, landed safely, were able to remain with their airplane for a period of days, during which time they got off a number of radio messages. Eventually the airplane was washed off the reef and went down the reef face, probably after being hung up for a while in the surf zone. By the time search planes from the USS Colorado flew over about a week later, the plane had disappeared. It had gone underwater. Earhart and perhaps Noonan, we don't really know what happened to Noonan. We don't know what happened to Earhart either, but we think that Earhart, anyway, eventually worked her way, exploring the island to find out what there was to eat and drink, worked her way down to the southeast end of the island where she died, left her bones and artifacts, and the airplane, meanwhile, broke up, and pieces were occasionally coughed up onto the reef flat where they were collected by colonists who arrived there a year later and manufactured into various things that we find today in the colonial village.